Ms. Keisha, are you ready? I'd like to call the meeting of the North Little Rock Planning Commission to order, please. Ms. Keisha, would you please call the roll?
Alexander.
Here.
Blasco.
Here.
Chambers. Present. Dietz. Foster.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
White. Chairman Clifton.
Here. Do I hear a motion? Motion made and seconded that those members not present be excused. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We also have Alderman Steve Baxter and Alderman Beth White here with us today. Glad y'all are with us. Let me give you a reminder to please turn off your cell phones. And the Planning Commission procedures are on the back of the agenda if you have picked one up. Would move under to administrative, but we have no administrative business today. Mr. Spencer?
Got one reminder to the planning commissioners to talk in the microphone and turn the microphone on because that we are being taped.
Okay, very good. You have been submitted a copy of the minutes from our previous meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
Second.
Motion made and seconded that be approved as submitted. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Under our Development Review Committee, Mr. Don Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Development Review Committee met and considered item SD 2016-6, Winger Addition, Lot 1, preliminary plat of residential lot on Perrin Road. The committee discussed with the applicant items 1 through 10 and subsections, and with that, the Development Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded that this application be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? Mr. Foster?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to make sure the applicant's aware that, I know it's on item 1A here, it says to pay a drainage in lieu of fee of $500 per acre for residential development or instead provide on-site detention. But where that property is located on the hill, I would think engineer could prove detention is not required and also the fee would not be required. I just want to make sure the applicant knows that and work with your engineer, and those two items perhaps could go away.
Is the applicant here? Okay, yes, ma'am. Did you hear what Mr. Foster had to say and understand? Mr. Foster,
I think
again.
what you, from talking to staff here, there's an engineer involved with your property, I guess, for helping you plat it and replat it. He would be aware of the detention requirements, and he probably could do a quick little study to prove to the city engineer that a detention, water detention for stormwater would not be required, and also you would not be required to pay the in lieu detention fee because you're kind of on top of the hill and water's going to run down through the creek any way you look at it. So check it with him, and any money you pay him would be very well worth waiving some
Thank you.
requirements here. I just want to let you know about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Any other comments from any of the commissioners? Oh, yes, ma'am. Please come up and give us your name, please.
I'm Jane Hall. I'm with Raleigh Realtors. I represent hers in buying the lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And we needed to do a sidewalk waiver, and I have those.
Okay, would you turn that in with Mr. Spencer? Are they in order, Mr. Spencer? Okay. Mr. Chambers? Okay. Mr. Chambers?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As everyone on the commission knows, when we receive a sidewalk waiver, that gives us permission to consider whether or not to waive sidewalks for this lot. And under item 5A, provide sidewalks to city standards or assign sidewalk waiver. It doesn't say or not, not require them. So we have a waiver in front of us. It gives us permission to waive sidewalks, and if no planning commissioners object, I would like to amend item A to say that sidewalks are not required.
Do I hear a second to the amendment? The motion was made that number 5A be amended to delete 5A from the application. Any comments from the commissioners? Mr. Foster?
Mr. Chamber, do you think we need to amend 1B in addition to 5A?
I would delete 1B and change 5A to sidewalks are not required.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, the revised or amendment would be to delete 1A or 1B completely and reword 5A to say sidewalks are not required.
Do I need to redo my second? Or
You're
is that-
good.
You're good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But for us to waive the sidewalk, we still have to have the signed sidewalk waiver. do we
That's
not?
what we
She has
just
turned
received.
it in.
Okay, but I mean, does that need to stay in here? That it requires a sidewalk waiver? I understand it's turned in, but it still should be in here because it's like we're waiving it, but we didn't say because it has a sidewalk waiver. I know I'm being technical.
No,
but
but under 5A, we can say waive sidewalks in accordance with permission granted by sidewalk
But
waiver.
then I think you leave 1B in. I don't think you take it out. My understanding is we were wanting to take it out. I think you leave 1B in.
Either way, something has to say in here that we waive sidewalks.
No, and I'm okay with that.
Sidewalk
but-
waiver has been provided.
Yeah.
Go on with it.
Sidewalk waiver has been provided, waive sidewalks. How's that?
That's fine, as long as that sidewalk waiver is in there. I think it needs to be in there because that is our regulation.
Right, well, we couldn't consider it unless we had received it.
And that's the reason why 5 years from now, I wanted to say that it was in there.
Okay, so the motion on the amendment will read how, Mr. Chambers?
1B would be deleted, and 5A would say sidewalk waiver received, subdivision, the Development Review Committee recommends waiving sidewalks.
Okay. Is that okay on your second, Ms. Belasco?
Yes, second.
Mr. White, does that take care of your concern on it?
I just don't know why we just don't leave it in B and forget it and then put on their sidewalks to be waived. I don't know why we don't leave it. It's in every one that we do. Is it not?
Just add a little, somewhat agreeing, if they want to build a sidewalk, it needs to be built to city standards.
Right.
So there's nothing hurt in leaving 1B in there, because if they're wanting to do one, it would need to be built to city standards, or provide or a signed waiver, and then change 5A, as Mr. Chambers was saying. But I think that's what you're saying.
That's exactly what
yeah.
I'm saying. There's no reason to delete the.
I'm fine with either way you want to go with it.
Should 1B have a period after the word standard and delete the rest of the sentence, since we already talked about a waiver in 5A?
Mr. Spencer?
I think it's fine the way it is, but
along.
I can't make a motion, so that's up to you guys.
Okay, so, Ms. Keisha, please read the motion back. Okay, Mr. Spencer?
I think 5A is going to say sidewalks not required due to a sidewalk waiver has been signed by the mayor and 2 aldermen, and the subdivision committee has approved it, or development review committee has approved it.
Okay, that will be noted and put in our minutes for our
Yes.
next meeting. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak on this application or on the amendments? Okay, on the application as amended, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chambers.
The Development Review Committee considered SD 216-7 Harris Industrial Park, Lot BR, replat of industrial lot located at the northwest corner of Eanes Road and Harris Road. The applicant was present and agreed to items 1 through 12 in subsections, and with that, the Development Review Committee recommends approval.
Motion made and seconded that this application be passed or be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor of the application as submitted, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chambers?
Yes, in development review, the sidewalk waiver is normally presented at that meeting. It's rare and unusual that it be presented here. So that's why that wording and everything is already pre-worked out.
Right.
You know, so we don't, but at this meeting is why it took so long to figure it out. And I'm sure staff will have wording and such, and maybe put the thumb down a little bit more on getting that into development review.
Mr.
The
White?
only reason I bring that up, I don't want to go back to the old school where all of a sudden we're waving sidewalks right and left.
I do
because
not
we took
either.
it out of there, and also we got to have a
Amen.
penny sales tax to start building them back again. So I just want it to know that this, is a waiver.
Yeah, Mr. White, you
Very
cannot
good.
believe how many times your name comes up in planning and development review about the commissioners that, we're only 4 people, and the other 5 are really hard on sidewalks.
Very good, thank you.
It's okay, you use my name.
Under public hearings, our first case is conditional use case number 1 to allow a daycare center in a CL zone located at 900 West 36th in North Little Rock. A CL zone, Mr. Spencer?
Commercial levy, that's one of the new Jumpstart overlay districts.
Okay, got you. Okay, is the applicant here?
Yes, sir.
Please come up and give us your name.
Good evening. My name is Beverly Hall.
I'm sorry, say again?
Beverly Hall.
Okay. And this has been submitted to the Design Review Committee, and there were some conditions placed on the application. Have you reviewed those conditions?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you agree with all of them?
I do.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? Yes, Alderman White?
This question is for the applicant. I'm just wondering about the fence that is around the covered area, how that's going to be improved.
We'll replace that with a privacy fence.
Wood privacy.
I'm sorry?
A wood privacy fence.
Wooden privacy fence as required by North Little Rock.
Could I say one more thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, I'm not sure if you're aware, the Levy community has adopted legislation that is guiding design for that community, and even though it doesn't directly affect you, they do have a very active merchants group now that I would urge you to be part of if you are interested, and find out some of the new things they're planning for that area.
Sure. I like that.
Thank you, Alderman. With those comments, Ms. Hall, are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other comments from anyone in the audience? Comments from any of the commissioners? On the application, please call the roll.
Alexander,
Yes.
Blasco,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Harris, Phillips,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chairman Clifton.
Yes, your application did pass. If you'll get with Mr. Spencer, he can tell you what to do next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next case is conditional, or item number 2 is conditional use number 3 to allow a daycare center in a C4 zone located at 8000 Crystal Hill Road. Is the applicant here? Yes, sir. Yes, give us your name, please.
Good evening, I'm Brian Christian.
Okay. Mr. Christian, this has been before the Design Review Committee, and there was some recommendations by that committee. Have you been furnished a copy of those recommendations?
Yes, sir, I have.
Will you comply with all those?
I will, yes.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or against this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? On the application, please call the roll.
Alexander,
Yes.
Blasco,
Yes.
Chambers, Foster, Harris, Phillips,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chairman Clifton.
Yes. Mr. Christian, your application did pass. If you'll get with Mr. Spencer tomorrow, he can tell you what to do next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're under our public comment section of our agenda. Is there anyone has any public comment they'd like to come forward with. Mr. Chambers?
First day of daylight savings times is next Sunday. Spring forward Saturday night.
All right. Ms. Belasco?
I would like to know how fast Mr. Baxter ran the half marathon Sunday.
Very good.
That's
Very
awesome.
good.
Now quit. Right, Charlie? No, keep on running. Change the wall.
Any other comments?
Our opinion.
I ran it in 2 hours and 45 minutes.
All right, then, way to go.
Did you run the half or the?
I didn't run either of them.
Oh,
But he can make up a time if you need him.
there.
Okay,
I have a question.
Mr. White?
Review, because I'm seeing more and more in all the neighborhoods, especially my neighborhoods, RVs in driveways or in yards. Tell me again, we don't have any rules on that, or?
There are, and I'll send them to you, but there's certain, if you're prepping the RV to go on a trip, you have 72 hours that you can park it on the street, if my memory is correct. And if it's on the side of the house or in the back of the house, it's allowed, and there might be a time limit in the front yard, but it can't overhang into the street or sidewalk.
And no one can live in it, correct?
Definitely, no one can live in an RV other than in an RV park.
Okay. And then the second question, and I got frustrated the other day with code, as I always do a lot, but there's a house, and they've got a structure in the backyard, and they're making something back there. And then they drain their water through a pipe, and then it goes into our water system or into our drainage system. But when y'all call code says call street department. You call street department says, well, is that really us? You know, so who is it? If
If it's
people
going
are-
into the water system, the sewer system, we need to be calling wastewater and letting them know.
Well, it's the, you know, the storm drainage.
Yeah.
So who is that? And no one seems to know who it is, but I know this
I
is
think
not a
it's
good
waste-
chemical
yeah.
going in there.
Yeah,
Huh?
It's public works. I mean, they're in charge of the drainage system.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'll get you an
Works-
answer on that, and
Yeah.
but it should be, there's different divisions now in Public Works, so there's not a Public Works director anymore. It got divided up into 5 or 6 departments.
Well, that's
So
what I found out.
Yeah, I'll find out which guy and have him call you.
Yeah, because I always say, no, it's not me, but they don't know the number to call.
Yeah.
I always think that's interesting.
Are they dumping a chemical waste?
It is a chemical. This is a chemical, because it's,
Okay.
you can tell on the street, it's some kind of bad chemical.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
That goes directly into our water.
And they're making something in the garage behind their house.
there's something going on back there, because it's not a swimming pool deal, it is stained big time. It's in Lakewood Northeast is where it is, that's in the kind of,
Should that not be checked out to see if it's a business running in there?
Yeah, we'll give you a call
I'll get the
tomorrow.
address for you, and we'll work about that, but there's something bad happening back there.
Okay.
It's a weird, I mean, I'm surprised the neighbors hadn't said, why is our street changing colors? You know, type chemical,
Okay.
so.
Okay, any other comments on a motion? Motion made and seconded, we be adjourned. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.